Throwaway because people from my city are absolutely feral on Reddit, and I don't need this link back to me. Also, English isn't my first language, so forgive any weird phrasing. This happened about 6 months ago, and I still get a headache when I think about it. For context, I own a bar. Not a dive, not a mega club, but one of those trendy but trying not to look trendy places. Exposed brick, warm lights, overpriced cocktails with rosemary in them. You know the type. I opened it 3 years ago after selling my tech startup, and I stayed mostly invisible on purpose. No big announcements, no meet the owner nights. I like pouring my own drinks, watching people blending into the background like a bartender NPC. That Friday night, I was exhausted. One of our managers had called in sick. My phone had been vibrating nonstop, and I'd already broken up 2 arguments before 10 p.m. All I wanted was to get through the shift, lock up, and go home. That's when she walked in. You know how sometimes a room changes temperature when someone enters? She had that effect. Not because she was stunning, she was fine, conventionally attractive, but because she carried herself like the world owed her interest. Late 30s, designer bag, she made sure everyone could see, heels that clicked aggressively on the floor like punctuation marks. She didn't wait to be seated. She didn't even look at the host. She walked straight to the center of the bar, scanned the room like a general inspecting troops, and said loudly, "No, absolutely not." Everyone nearby went quiet for half a second. The host, poor kid, blinked. "Is there a problem, ma'am?" "Yes," she said, waving her hand. "I always sit VIP. Who do I talk to?" Now, important detail, we don't advertise VIP tables. We have them, but they're reserved for events, investors, or friends. The kind of people who don't announce it. The host politely explained this. Very calmly. Very professionally. She laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, honey," she said, leaning closer. "I know the owner." There it was. The sentence. The universal spell people think unlocks reality. I was behind a bar wiping glasses, listening. I looked up, mildly curious. This wasn't the first time someone had tried this, but something about her confidence was impressive. Like she genuinely believed the lie would bend the universe. The host smiled awkwardly. "Okay, but do you have a reservation?" She sighed dramatically. "No, because I don't need one. Just tell him I'm here." "Who should I say is here?" the host asked. She paused, just a fraction of a second. "Tell him it's Vanessa." "Reader, my name is not Vanessa. No one named Vanessa exists in my ownership circle." But I stayed quiet, still curious. The host looked at me, panic creeping in. I raised an eyebrow, subtly shaking my head. He nodded and said, "Let me check." Vanessa crossed her arms, smug already, like the night had been won. While the host walked away, she turned to the guy next to her, some random dude she clearly didn't know, and said loudly, "It's ridiculous how places treat you when they don't realize who you are." I almost choked on my water. The host came back. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we can seat you at a standard table or the bar. VIP is unavailable tonight." Her face changed. Not angry yet. Offense. Like someone had insulted her lineage. "What do you mean, unavailable?" "It's reserved." "For who?" "I can't disclose that." She leaned in, lowered her voice, but not enough. "Listen, I had dinner with the owner last month. He personally told me VIP is always open for me." At this point, several people were watching. This was becoming theater. I stepped out from behind the bar. Calm, smiling. "Hey," I said casually. "Everything okay here?" Her eyes lit up, like she'd been rescued. "Yes. Perfect. You work here, right? Can you tell them I need the VIP table? I know the owner." I looked at her for a second. Just a second too long. "Oh," I said. "Which owner?" She didn't hesitate. "The main one. Tall guy. Dark hair. Important." That description fit about half the male population of Earth. I nodded slowly. "Got it," I said. "I'll take care of it." She smiled triumphantly. Turned to the host like she'd just won a legal case. "See?" I walked back behind the bar. Picked up a glass. Polished it. Let the moment breathe. She waited. Then waited longer. 5 minutes passed. She cleared her throat loudly. "Excuse me." I turned around. "Yeah. Aren't you going to seat us?" I smiled again. "Oh, no." The smile slipped from her face. "What do you mean, no?" I leaned forward slightly. "I mean, VIP is still unavailable. She stared at me like I'd spoken another language. But I know the owner, she snapped. I nodded. Yeah, I said. About that. And that's where things really started to go wrong for her. I could have ended it right there. I could have said, I'm the owner, watched her implode, enjoyed 5 seconds of justice, and gone back to polishing glasses. But something in me, maybe exhaustion, maybe curiosity, maybe that dark little part of the soul that likes watching liars dig, decided to let her keep going. She straightened her back and laughed again. Not a happy laugh. A sharp one. Okay, she said slowly, this is getting stupid. Go get your manager. I nodded. Sure. I didn't move. I said. She raised her voice. Go. Get. Your. Manager. I am, I replied. She blinked. What? I'm a manager on duty, I said calmly. That annoyed her, but it didn't scare her. Not yet. People like her never imagine the floor collapsing under them. They assume it's solid because it always has been. Well then, she said, putting her hands on her hips. As a manager, you should know better. I spent a lot of money here. That was interesting. Oh, I asked. How much? She scoffed. Enough that the owner would be furious if he knew you were treating me like this. I nodded again. I nod a lot when I'm trying not to smile. Okay, I said. What's your last name? She hesitated. Not long. Just long enough. Vanessa Clark. There it was. A full identity pulled straight out of thin air. I tapped something into the POS system, pretending to search. The screen wasn't even on the right menu. She leaned forward, watching intently, like this was a courtroom drama and I was about to read the verdict. Do you see it? She asked. I hummed. Nope. Her voice hardened. Check again. I did. Well, then your system is wrong, she snapped. Because I've been here many times. I shrugged. We keep records. VIP guests especially. The word VIP triggered something feral in her. This is unbelievable, she said loudly, turning toward the room. Is this how you treat women here? Is this some kind of power trip? Heads turned. A couple nearby stopped talking. Someone pulled out their phone. Of course they did. I sighed internally. Here we go. Ma'am, I said evenly, nobody's mistreating you. We just don't have a VIP table available. She leaned closer across the bar, invading my space. I could smell her perfume. Expensive, aggressive. You're lying, she whispered, and you're going to regret it. Now that was new. I raised an eyebrow. Is that a threat? She smiled thinly. Call it a warning. At this point, one of my bartenders, bless him, leaned in and murmured, You good? Yeah, I said. Just give us a minute. Vanessa turned to him immediately. Finally, someone competent. Give me the owner. Now. He looked at me. Then back at her. Then back at me again. I shook my head slightly. I'm not playing this game, she snapped. I have connections. I know people. You think this little bar can afford bad press? I actually laughed. It slipped out. Not loud, but enough. That sent her over the edge. Oh my God, she said. You're laughing? Do you know who I am? This question is always my favorite, because the answer is almost always no one important. No, I said honestly. I don't. She turned to the room again. Unbelievable. This place hires misogynistic staff who enjoy humiliating women in public. That did it. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the bar. My voice stayed calm, but something in it shifted. The fun was over. Vanessa, I said, you walked in here demanding special treatment. You lied about knowing the owner. You lied about being a VIP. And now you're threatening staff and causing a scene. Her eyes narrowed. Watch your tone. Or what? I asked. She opened her mouth, probably to say something dramatic, when suddenly a guy from the back stood up. Hey, he said loudly. Just seat her or kick her out. Some of us are trying to enjoy our night. She turned on him instantly. Excuse me? Mind your business. He raised his hands. See? This is why. Shut up, she yelled. The room went silent. I straightened up. That's enough, I said. She spun back to me. You don't get to tell me. Ido, interrupted. You're done here. Her mouth fell open. You're kicking me out? Yes. You can't. I can. I know the owner. I took a slow breath. Vanessa, I said, clearly now, I'm asking you to leave. She laughed hysterically. This is insane. You're going to lose your job over this. I smiled. Finally. Yeah, I said. About that. I reached in my pocket and pulled out my phone. Her smile froze. Let me call the owner, I continued. We'll clear this right up. For the first time all night, I saw it. Feared there's a very specific moment when someone realizes they've gone too far. Not the moment they're wrong. People like Vanessa are wrong all the time. I mean the moment when the lie they're standing on starts cracking under their feet, and they can't step back without falling. That moment came when I unlocked my phone. She was still smirking then, arms crossed, chin lifted, absolutely convinced the universe was about to apologize to her. Go on, she said. Call him. I noticed something small. Her friends, two women who'd been silent the entire time, had stopped backing her up physically. They weren't touching her anymore. They weren't nodding. They were just watching. That's always the first sign. I held the phone in my hand, staring at the screen longer than necessary. Not for drama. Okay, maybe a little for drama, but because I wanted her to feel the waiting, the doubt. You gonna do it or what? She snapped. Yeah, I said. 1 second. I scrolled slowly, then tapped a contact. I didn't even bother hiding the name. The screen reflected faintly in the bar mirror behind me. A couple people close enough could probably read it. She didn't notice. Put on speaker, she said again, louder now. I want witnesses. I flipped it to speaker and raised the phone. It rang. The sound cut straight through the room. Conversations died instantly. It was like everyone collectively leaned in without moving. Ring, ring. She rolled her eyes. He's probably busy. He's a very important man. Click. Hey, the voice said. My voice. Slight delay. Slight compression. Unmistakably mine. Her brow furrowed. Hey, I said into the phone. Quick question. Do you know a woman named Vanessa Clark? There was a pause. A real one. Not theatrical. The kind where the other person is actually thinking. No, the voice said finally. Should I? A sharp inhale rippled through the crowd. Vanessa froze. Not dramatically. More like her body forgot what expression to wear. That's not funny, she said quietly. Who is that? I didn't answer her. You sure? I asked the phone. I'm sure, the voice replied. What's going on? I looked directly at her. She says she's VIP, that you promised her a table. There was a short laugh on the line. Absolutely not. Someone behind her whispered, Oh my God. Her face flushed deep red, then pale again. She opened her mouth, closed it, then laughed loud, brittle. Wow, she said. Okay, so you got someone to pretend to be you. Congratulations. Very professional. I ended the call. The silence after was deafening. I didn't pretend, I said calmly. That was me. She stared at me like I just told her gravity was optional. No, she said slowly. No, you're just a bartender. I own this place. You're lying. I'm not. Her voice started rising. You don't look like an owner. That one hurt her the moment it left her mouth. You could tell. She tried to backpedal. I mean, owners don't, you know. Work. I finished for her. She clenched her jaw. Stop manipulating this. At this point, her friends had fully disengaged. One of them was staring at the floor. The other was typing furiously on her phone, probably Googling the bar. I leaned forward slightly, lowering my voice, not to intimidate, but to anchor the room. You came in here demanding something you weren't entitled to, I said. You lied repeatedly. You threatened my staff. And now you're embarrassed because you assumed power you didn't have. Her eyes went glossy. Then, like a switch flipped, she changed tactics. She started crying. Not subtle tears. Loud, shaky sobs. Hands trembling. Voice cracking. This is disgusting, she cried. You set me up. You let everyone laugh at me. A few people shifted uncomfortably. That's the dangerous part, when the crowd starts doubting again. I didn't set you up, I said evenly. I gave you multiple chances to stop. She turned to the room. Is this normal here? Is this how women are treated? Someone finally spoke up. A woman at the bar. Calm. Firm. No, she said. This is how liars are treated. Vanessa snapped her head toward her. You don't know anything. Security appeared almost immediately. Quiet. Controlled. Ma'am, one of them said, we're going to escort you out. She laughed hysterically through her tears. Oh, sure. Kick me out. That'll look great when I call the police. You're welcome to, I said. She spun toward me, eyes wild. You think you're untouchable because you own a bar? No, I said. I think actions have consequences. That's when she lost it. She swept her arm across the bar, knocking over a full drink. Glass shattered. Liquid splashed onto a couple sitting nearby. Gasps. Someone cursed. That was the line. Security grabbed her arms, not roughly but firmly. She screamed immediately. Don't touch me. Let go. I'm being assaulted. Phones were everywhere now. Recording angles. Narratives forming in real time. As I dragged her toward the door, she twisted back and screamed at me with pure venom. You're nothing without this place. I met her eyes. And you're nothing without lies, I said. The door slammed shut behind her. The bar exhaled. People clapped. Someone laughed. Someone else shouted, best night ever. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Because outside, Vanessa wasn't done. And 20 minutes later, blue lights lit up the windows that I noticed the lights before I heard the sirens. Blue strobes flickered against the brick wall outside, cutting through the warm glow of the bar like a bad omen. At first, people thought it was unrelated. Maybe a traffic stop, maybe something down the street. Then 2 officers walked past the windows and straight toward her door. The cheering stopped. Someone near the bar muttered, no way. I closed my eyes for half a second. Not because I was scared, because I was tired. This was supposed to be a quiet Friday. The door opened. Cold air rushed in. Along with it came Vanessa's voice from outside, shrill and emotional. Yes, that's him. He's the one. Of course. The officers stepped inside, professional and neutral. 1 male, 1 female. They scanned the room, clocked the broken glass on the floor, the phone still half raised, the tension hanging in the air like smoke. Who's the manager here? The male officer asked. I am, I said, stepping forward. Vanessa pushed in behind them like a missile that had been waiting for clearance. There he is, she said, pointing at me dramatically. That man assaulted me. He had his security throw me out. I was humiliated, threatened, and physically removed for no reason. I blinked once. The female officer looked at her, then at me. Is that true? No, I said calmly. But I can explain. Vanessa laughed bitterly. Of course he'll say that. They always do. The male officer raised a hand. Ma'am, please let him speak. She huffed loudly, but crossed her arms. I explained everything. Slowly, clearly, from the moment she entered to the demands, the lies, the threats, the broken glass. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't insult her. I just laid out facts like bricks. When I finished, the officer nodded. Do you have cameras? Yes, I said. Multiple angles. Audio too. Vanessa's face changed again. Just slightly. That doesn't matter, she snapped. He can edit those. The female officer gave her a look. That's not how that works. I gestured to the bartender. Can you pull the footage? As he walked away, Vanessa stepped closer to me, lowering her voice. You think you're clever, she hissed. You think this ends well for you? I met her gaze. It already has. The footage played on the screen behind the bar. No sound at first, just visuals. Her pointing, her shouting, her knocking the drink over. Security calmly escorting her out while she thrashed. The officers watched silently. Then the bartender turned the sound on. Shut up. I know the owner. I'll sue this place. Don't touch me. Vanessa's voice filled the bar, undeniable. The female officer sighed quietly. That's enough, the male officer said, turning off the screen. Vanessa exploded. This is bullshit. You're all against me. Ma'am, the female officer said firmly. You made a false report. Vanessa laughed nervously. No, I didn't. Yes, the officer replied. You did. Her confidence finally shattered. You don't understand, she said desperately. I was disrespected. You let people laugh at me. That's not a crime, the officer said. But they touched me. You were escorted after causing damage and disturbance, the officer replied. That's lawful. Vanessa looked around the room, searching for allies. None came. One of her friends, the one who'd stayed quiet all night, stepped forward. I'm sorry, she said softly. She lied to us too. Vanessa turned on her. Are you serious? The officer stepped between them. Ma'am, that's enough. Her voice broke. So that's it? I just lose. The officer shrugged slightly. You can leave peacefully, or we can escalate this. She stared at me one last time. Not with anger anymore, with humiliation. Naked, raw, unbearable. This isn't over, she whispered. I nodded. It is for tonight. They escorted her out again, this time slower, quieter. No screaming. No performance. Just the sound of heels clicking against the pavement, weaker now. When the door closed, the bar stayed silent for a moment. Then someone clapped. Then another. Then the whole place erupted. Drinks were comped. Stories were told. I even laughed, genuinely this time. But as I cleaned up the broken glass later, my phone buzzed. A notification. A new post. With my bar's name in the title. And thousands of views already climbing. Vanessa wasn't done yet that I didn't read the post right away. That's important. When my phone buzzed, I glanced at the notification preview, saw my bar's name, a familiar profile picture, and the words disgusting experience in all caps, and I locked the screen. Not out of fear, out of experience. Anyone who's owned a business long enough knows this rule. You don't react emotionally to the internet. The internet wants blood, panic, apologies written at 3 a.m. You get none of that. So I finished my shift. I talked to staff, made sure everyone was okay, comped a few drinks, laughed it off with customers, locked the doors, went home, showered, ate something. Only then did I sit down and open the post. It was impressive, long, detailed, written like a courtroom monologue where she was both the victim and the hero. According to Vanessa, she had been singled out, publicly humiliated, gaslit, and physically assaulted by security on the orders of a power-hungry man pretending to be the owner. She never mentioned the lies, or the threats, or the glass she smashed. She did, however, tag the bar, and the city, and a few local influencers. By the time I finished reading, the post had over 20,000 views. The comments were already splitting into factions. Some believed her instantly. Men with money are always like this. Disgusting behavior. Boycott. Others were skeptical. Feels exaggerated. Why didn't she just leave? Something's missing. I scrolled calmly, took screenshots, and closed the app. Then I did the only smart thing. Nothing. The next morning, my phone was full. Messages, emails, missed calls, staff asking if we were in trouble, friends asking if I'd seen the post. I told everyone the same thing. It's handled. At noon, I posted one thing. One sentence. We are aware of the situation. Full footage is being reviewed. We will respond with facts. No emotion. No defense. No apology. That drove her insane. She posted again. And again. Stories. Videos. Emotional rants filmed from her car. Makeup slightly smudged. Voice shaking just enough to feel authentic. But here's the thing she didn't understand. The internet loves a victim, but it loves a liar exposed more. By evening, someone had uploaded a clip. Not from me. From a customer. A shaky phone video of her screaming, "Shut up," at the bar. Clear as day. Unedited. Raw. The comments shifted immediately. Then another clip surfaced. Then another. By night, people were tagging her. Is this you? Why did you lie? Play stupid games. I still hadn't posted the footage. I waited one more day. Then I released a short, time-stamped compilation. No music. No captions. Just reality. Her demanding VIP. Her claiming she knew me. Her threatening staff. Her smashing the glass. Her screaming as security escorted her out. It was brutal. Not because I attacked her, but because I didn't. I let her words do the work. Within hours, her original post was gone. Her account went private. Her influencer friends quietly deleted their tags. The bar? Busier than ever. People came in just to see the place from Reddit. They joked about VIP, bought drinks for staff, left 5-star reviews out of spite. One review stuck with me. Came for the drama. Stayed because the owner actually has a spine. A week later, I got an email from her lawyer. Short, careful, polite. They suggested mutual silence. I agreed. Not because I was afraid. Because I'd already won. Here's the part one didn't expect, though. About a month later, she came back. Not inside. She waited outside, near closing time. No muck-up. No entourage. No phone out. Just her. She didn't yell. Didn't accuse. Didn't threaten. She just said quietly, "You ruined my reputation. I looked at her for a long moment. No, I said. You loaned it to me. I returned it intact. She didn't reply. She just nodded once and walked away. I never saw her again. And I learned something important that night. Something I think about whenever someone says, I know the owner. Power isn't shouting. It isn't demanding. It isn't pretending to be someone you're not. Real power is being calm while someone else collapses under the weight of their own lies. And sometimes, the worst night for them becomes the best lesson for everyone watching.